In our 40s, strength training and walking is one of the most effective ways to see real lasting change. In this 20-minute lower body workout, we're going to be focusing on the quadriceps and the glutes. Our glutes tend to be very underused and undercued in exercises like squats and lunges. So we're going to be doing one of my favorite exercises called the glute push-up. It really turns on those glutes. And then we'll balance it out with exercises like the elevated heel plie to really strengthen the muscles around our knees and the tops of our thighs. Now keep in mind that strength training isn't just about aesthetics or how we look. It's about balancing our hormones. It betters our blood sugar and it creates muscle memory for 10 to 15 years out. And all you need for this short but very effective workout is a slider or a paper plate, 1 to 2 sets of dumbbells, and a sturdy chair. And we're gonna start by picking those knees up for 4, 3, here's 2, and 1. Now grab your shoelaces for 4, for 3, for 2. Pick up those knees, here we go. For 4, for 3, 2, and 1. Now grab those shoelaces for 4, for 3, for 2, and 1. Now give me a wide squat. Sit down in your squat. We're gonna sway from side to side. Now as you go to the side, feel that glute kick in, and the other side, feel that glute kick in. Just swing side to side, keeping that chest lifted. Yes. Here's 4, here's 3, here's 2, here's 1. Now bring those feet underneath your hips. Your feet are about hip width apart. And I want you to bend like you are shutting the car door and bring it up, keeping a nice straight spine. So instead of a squat, instead of coming down, I want you to think about going back. Yes, opening up that posterior chain. Here we go. Here's 4, here's 3, here's 2. Last one right here. And now we're gonna take it into a reverse lunge. On one side, 90% of your weight stays on that front leg, about 10% on that back leg. Now, as you come down into this reverse lunge, I want you to think about chest coming forward with a nice straight spine. 2 more like this, here we go. Here's 2, last one. Same thing on the other side. So here we go, we got a 90-10 split. 90% of your weight stays in that front leg. Just getting good and warm because we're gonna be starting off with some glute push-ups. Here's 3, here's 2, last one right here. All right, bring those feet back underneath your hips and we're gonna lift up into a calf raise and then rock to lift those toes. Lift and just rocking back and forth. Getting in some ankle mobility. Here's 5, here's 4, 3, here's 2, last one. All right, we're gonna start off with that glute push-up. So grab your sturdy chair and your slider. I want you to grab 1 of your heavy dumbbells. So I'm gonna be starting with a 20 today. The dumbbell's gonna go opposite grip. So what that means is it's going in the opposite side of the leg that is working. Slider goes under, 90-10 split, so 90% of your weight stays on this front leg. Barely any weight is on that slider. So, working leg, opposite grip. Here we go. My shin stays vertical as I come down. Again, that 90-10 split, so barely any weight is on that back leg. It is just sliding. All right, so as you go back, this shin stays vertical. That is key, so that your work is in your glutes. If your knee comes over to those shoelaces like this, you took the work out of the glutes. All right, so shin is vertical, really important. Now, if you notice that your knee kind of caves in or bows in, decrease your dumbbell and aim for good form and going into a deep range so that you can feel that lengthening of your glute and drive up. Going for 8 to 10 of these. If you had a name tag on, that name tag points down as you come over. Here's 2, think back. Not forward, think back, yes. Oh yeah, I grabbed the right dumbbell. Challenging but not impossible. Okay, so opposite grip, 90-10 split. If you had a name tag on, it points down as we go down. Here we go, again, think back, not forward, and that shin is vertical. So shin is vertical, shin is vertical. Again, if your knee kind of bows in or caves in, you decrease your weight. All that means is we need to get those glutes a little bit stronger. And right now you can go in a further range to get more out of the work if you've got a lighter dumbbell. Otherwise, it's all about the angles. That knee comes to a 90-degree angle. You're pressing through your heel, not just pressing through your big toe, but press through your heel. Press through your heel. If you had a name tag on, it points down. I'm counting 4 more. Remember, we're going for 8 to 10. I can't say my counting is always spot on, but just getting so that those last few reps are challenging. Don't overthink it. Ooh, heart rate is climbing as well. Oh my glutes. Last one right here. Get a good range, get a good range. Knee over ankle joint, and drive up. All right, I'm gonna set that right there. We're gonna be moving into an elevated heel plie. So I want you to grab dumbbells that you won't be lifting for that elevated heel plie. So I'm gonna put my 10s underneath. So they're gonna go at about a 45-degree angle. All right, so lifting up those heels is really, really good for ankle and hip mobility. It lets you get deeper into the exercise. And then I want you to grab one of your heavy dumbbells. I'm gonna grab my 20 for this one as well. All right, so if you don't have the flat edge dumbbells or they would roll away from underneath you, I want you to go no dumbbells at all. You would just do that plie from the ground, okay? So otherwise, the dumbbell's gonna come up goblet style, heels come on to your dumbbells. Now I want you to think down, not back. So we're gonna come down to the center, keeping our shoulders stacked over our hips. And this is all about the tops of your thighs, as well as those adductors, those inner thighs. Again, think down, not back. So see how my shoulders are stacked over my hips, as opposed to coming back like this. Think down. Yes, again, 8 to 10 right here. Here's 5. Here's 4. Oh yeah, I'm feeling it. Grab the right weight here. Here's 2. Last one. And drive up and come off safely, 1 foot at a time. All right, gonna go back to those glute push-ups, my friends. This time we're gonna do same side grip, okay? So for this set, same side grip. So the leg that's doing the work, the dumbbell is in the same side. Again, 90-10 split here, barely any weight is on that back leg. Here we go. All about the angles. Knee, 90-degree angle over that ankle, and your shin is vertical. Angle, angle. Yes. Take it back, name tag down, get that angle right. Really, really aiming for that angle. That puts you into a good glute push-up where the work stays focused on lifting that backside. Yes. Here's 5. And drive. Here's 4. Barely any weight on that back leg. Name tag is down. Now, if that dumbbell's getting really heavy, you can also put it in the crook of your knee. Just a couple more right here. Last one. All right, and we're gonna switch sides. Again, that 90-10 split, really important, so you keep the focus on that front working leg. And we've got same grip. All right, name tag comes down. All about the angles. Is your knee stacked over your ankle? Yes, not stacked over those shoelaces. And drive through the heel, not just that big toe, drive through the heel. You've got a nice straight spine. You're going back. Think about back, not knee forward. Think about sitting back. Yes. Can you give me 1 more inch on the way down? Let's see, can you do it? Oh yeah. All right, I'm counting 5 more. I'm aiming for 10 of these. Remember, the goal is 8 to 10. If you've got a lighter weight, you can always do more, and you can also do a faster pace. Last 3. Oh my gosh, this is why these are one of my favorite exercises. I mean, so good for our glutes, so good for our posterior chain. 2. Here's your last one right here, last one. How deep can you go? And release. And when I say how deep can you go, you don't want to lose form to add depth, okay? All right, a little bit of breather as we go into our next exercise. We're gonna go back into the elevated heel plie. If you don't have the dumbbells with a flat edge, you're not elevating your heels. You're gonna do it from the floor. All right, so come up safely. Dumbbells goblet style. That way we stay lifted and you're going down, not back. Here we go. So we go down, stack those shoulders over your hips, yes. Take it down. Letting those knees track along your toes. Take it down. So lately, my brain kind of feels like I'm losing my marbles. My husband explains it the way, like, this is probably you as well, like a computer. You have all of these file folders open, and instead of closing one and opening another, they're just all open all the time, and you're just bouncing around, right? That's me. So I went to the doctor. I get annual lab work, blood panel, and I was like, okay, here, I'm gonna find my answers. I'm definitely deficient in something. Well, I could do a little bit more vitamin B because I'm allergic to milk, but everything else is fine. Hormones were fine. So I take a few steps back and I'm like, okay, what else do I need to change? So here's what I did. At night, I stopped scrolling on my phone and instead replaced that with reading or a Bible. Someone else said, why don't you do a puzzle? I was like, oh my gosh, like all the relaxing things, world of difference just in a few days. All right, 2 more. It's all about the 4 S's. Strength, step, sleep, and stress. Made a huge difference. Last one. I think I cheated that last one. I felt my shoulders coming forward. All right. So I'm gonna go ahead and move this equipment out of my way so I'm not tripping on it. All right, we're taking a little bit of a break as well before we move into the tricep coming your way. All right. Okay, so let's talk about our first exercise in the tricep. We're gonna be doing a weighted clamshell. I'm gonna be grabbing a 12-pound dumbbell. I would grab anywhere between 8 and 12 for this. And then we're gonna go into sumos and calves. All right, so that's what you've got in this tricep. Okay, so come on down. Go ahead, lift up out of your waistline, and the dumbbell is gonna be supported on the outside of your thigh here. Heels kiss, and we're gonna open and we're gonna close. All right, so now we're focusing on the gluteus medius, all right? Think about your hips staying stacked. I'm gonna put my dumbbell as I show this. Hips stay stacked. What we want to do is we wanna roll back. Maybe not that big, but you do tend to roll. Keep those hips stacked. If you're having trouble keeping the hips stacked, get rid of the dumbbell. Also think about pushing that bottom pinky toe into the ground. And I always like to say heels kiss because that keeps everything in good alignment. We're going for 12 of these. If you've got a lighter dumbbell, you could even go up to 15. Here's 3. Here's 2. I don't think I need to tell you where you feel this. It should be all right there. Okay, same thing on the other side. So get that good setup, and you're lifting up here so we're not totally sagging. All right, hips are stacked. We're not rolling back. Keep those hips stacked. Heels kiss. Think navel in, but you're not sucking in your breath. You're just bracing through your core. That way the work stays focused in those gluteus. And you just move that dumbbell where you find that you get the most effective movement out of it, that you feel that glute med working. Here's 6 more. Here's 5. Here's 4, 3, 2, and 1, and release. All right, we're gonna move into sumo squats next. If you are newer to the studio, I want you to grab 1 heavy dumbbell If you've been with me for a while, go ahead and grab 2. I'm gonna grab my 15s for this. All right, so you're gonna actually grip here, that way you can keep your shoulders back. All right, toes are turned out. Again, you've got like a 1.5 or 2 times the width of your squat. You're gonna keep your name tag pointed up. Your chest is staying proud. Your hips go back like you are sitting down in a chair and drive up. All right, here we go. You're gonna track those knees over your toes. That helps you engage the glutes, also protects those knees. Now, we're gonna do some tempo. I want you to go down 3, 2, 1, hold, drive up 1. Oh, that makes a difference, doesn't it? Down 3, 2, 1, hold, drive up 1. Yes. So again, that chest stays proud. It's coming down slightly. It's not like those elevated plies we were doing where we're staying upright. It's coming down slightly and that tailbone is sitting back in a chair. Oh, if you were wondering, this is my second favorite exercise next to glute push-ups. 3, 2, 1, hold, and drive up. So tempo, it's called a 3-1-1 tempo. Really good for shaping our muscles. And drive. Just a couple more, 8 to 10 of these. 3, 2, 1. Oh, that 1 at the bottom, at the hardest part of the exercise, that is a challenge. 1. I'm counting 2 more right here. Here's 3, 2, 1, pause, and drive. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, pause, and drive. Hot tamales. All right, set those weights down. Stand next to your chair. We've got some calf raises. Here we go, lift up and lower. So now your feet, like I said, sometimes those file folders just aren't closing before I move on. Those feet are directly underneath your hips for 5, 4, 3, 2. Now I want you to turn your toes out. Little turn out for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Now pigeon toe like this. Here we go for 10, 9. Now calves are a secondary mover in many of the exercises that we do, and this just isolates them. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Yeah, okay, we're going back to those clamshells. I'm gonna grab my 12 again. I'm also gonna give you an option. Say you don't like clamshells, or they're not serving you well today. You could also do an abduction. So first, let's get in the clamshell. Heels kiss, hips stack, and we open and we close. So say this just isn't your jam. You're gonna take it into an abduction here. If you're doing the abduction, the toe is gonna point down slightly. That way you're not using your quadricep to do it. You're keeping the work in that gluteus medius. Here, I'm counting 6 more. 5, 4, again, the goal is to feel this in your gluteus medius, so whichever exercise is doing that for you today. And switch sides. Oh man, those tempo sumos really got my heart rate climbing. All right, here we go, heels kiss, hip stack. Press that bottom pinky toe into the ground. Now, I will say that the closer the dumbbell is to your knee, the harder it is. It's all about physics, right? You've got kind of a longer lever that way. But I want you to do it where it feels good to you. Here's 7. Make sure you lift out of that core. 4, 3, here's 2. All right, we're gonna go into our final set of sumos. All right, we're gonna use that tempo again. 3, 1, 1. All right, give me that wide stance, 1.5 to 2 times the width of your squat. Toes are just in a natural turn out. Knees track along the toes and sit your tailbone back into a chair. Chest stays proud, pause at the bottom, drive up. Remember, the knees tracking along the toes not only makes those glutes work, it also protects your knees. So it's 3, 2, 1, pause, drive up. Ooh, that pause. 3, 2, 1, pause. You're pausing at the deepest, the hardest part of the exercise. 3, 2, 1. Again, that tailbone is going back. Chest is staying proud. We've got 5 more. 3, 2, 1, pause. This is where those reps should be challenging, but not impossible. If this is easy peasy for you, it's time to increase your dumbbells, increase your weight. 3, 2, 1, pause. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, pause. Oh, my heart rate is climbing. Pause. Last one right here. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Give me that pause. And drive up. And release those dumbbells. Oh. All right, we are actually gonna go into our stretching. Heart rate is up. Remember, you're in charge of your breath. So really use your breath to calm your nervous system, slow it down. We're gonna be using our chair for the first stretch. We're gonna be stretching out our calves. All right, so I want you to press one heel back and shift forward to get more of a stretch, a deeper stretch. Now, for those of you who stand sway back, I was a dancer my whole life, that is just the posture I have. I've really worked on it. Your calves can be really tight. So this is one of those stretches that'd be good to do once or twice throughout the day. And then just working on that posture. Because if you think about it, switch sides. You know, we work out, what, 15, 20, 30 minutes in a day, but we're standing and sitting the rest of the day. So our posture is really important. Stretching out those calves, yes. All right, now we're gonna go into our hips. So I want you to stack ankle over knee and sit back. Now don't grip on your chair. Don't keep any tension up in your neck. Kind of loosen that up. And breathe, remember, you're in charge of your breath. With every exhale, I like to get a little deeper into the stretch. Again, what feels good to you, right? Listen to the feedback of your body. Now we hold our stretches for about 20 seconds. In these shorter workouts, if you want a deeper stretch, longer stretch, switch sides. We have a couple videos called Deep Stretch. They're anywhere from 5 to 6 minutes long, and they are meant to be done after a walk. Not after some intense lifting, but after a walk. And release it. Now we're gonna take it into those hammies, those hamstrings. All right, you can keep those knees bent. The wider your stance, the easier it is. And if you want, you can even reach those fingertips down to the ground. Let the ponytail fall. And go ahead and bring it on up. And if you've got the time today, I'm gonna get you started in breath work. Oh, breath work is so good for our nervous system. Don't worry about your posture or anything, just breathe. Breathe in, pause, and breathe out. Now, if you count your breaths, you're more than likely to stay here and your mind's not gonna drift onto other things. So count those breaths, 10 or 15 of them if you've got the time.